What is up, everybody? Random Random Man here, bringing you my review for Lucy, which stars Scarlett Johansson, Morgan Freeman, Choi Min-sik, and Amir Wakhed, and is directed by Luc Besson. The plot follows the title character, played by Scarlett Johansson, who is caught in a drug deal gone wrong when a package sewn inside of her breaks and turns her into an unstoppable warrior with the ability to access up to 100% of her brain capacity. I was looking forward to Lucy as the premise was interesting, despite being similar in thought to Limitless with Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro from 2011. But I do love Luc Besson as he has made excellent movies such as Leon the Professional and The Fifth Element. And I also do love Scarlett Johansson as an actress. How was it? Let's run down the whole thing. Right off the bat, casting-wise, Scarlett Johansson is great in the role of a woman caught in a bad situation, but is quickly able to use her wits to ease her way out of everything. Choi Min-sik from the original Oldboy film does a fine job being our menacing antagonist out to get Lucy and the drugs she was smuggling. Amir Wakhed does a serviceable job as the cop assisting Lucy, but does get oddly sidelined when Johansson's character is doing all the dirty work herself. This leaves one of the main actors left to talk about, and that is Morgan Freeman, who is always welcoming in any performance, but his role as a scientist out to look for new scientific technologies is very similar to his role in the recent Transcendence, which does have a lot of similarities to Lucy in its plot structure and execution. The first section of this movie was really well done, with Lucy getting the drugs embedded in her body and then becoming all-knowing and powerful. The action was well choreographed and set up along with the visual effects and overall look at this film, as it is very eye-catching, especially when you consider that this film was made for around $40 million. Unfortunately, this movie does lose much of its traction it gained after the halfway mark. Lucy is also very short, as it is around 90 minutes long, which was refreshing, but it did feel a lot longer at times, given that the pacing was all over the place. What do I mean by this? Well, all the action that was advertised is few and far between, as all the scientific exposition was provided by Freeman's character along the way about the function of the human brain. That leads up to the final 10 minutes of this movie, which I have to say left my jaw open in disbelief of how ridiculous it was and how similar it was to Transcendence in its ending. And to quickly go off track here, now that I have a second opinion on Transcendence, I feel that it is not just inferior to Lucy as a film, but it is also weaker than I originally thought. That also points out my biggest issue with Lucy, as it tries to do so much in such a small running time. I also saw hints of other films utilized here, such as Limitless and Transcendence with its plot and structure, of course, but also Terrence Malick's The Tree of Life and Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, right down to some of its imagery with space, science, and animal footage to show the obvious. This should have been a longer film or more than one movie, as everything it tried to cram into the final cut made it seem too ambitious for its own good. In fact, the flick tried to be serious and cheesy at the same time, and I don't think it came off to the audience well, as people at my screening were laughing throughout. All of this just comes together into a very mixed bag, as this film will divide many who see this film. As for me, however, I think that Luc Besson is doing something ambitious once again, but is not fully realized by the end after everything has all been said and done. My final thoughts on Lucy are that while I did like this film, there was just so much it gets wrong as it goes on. The acting, premise, action, and visuals are all done admirably, but the way the plot moves along in a short amount of time makes it seem too aspiring, convoluted, and even ridiculous in the final product. I will cautiously recommend this movie to sci-fi fans out there, and unless you are as big of a fan of Scarlett Johansson as I am, then there is not too much to view here otherwise. My final verdict: for Lucy is 3 out of 5 stars. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you later on the next movie review.